Hi, I'm Jack. I'm the developer behind Church Planner, and I'm going to give you a quick run through so you can see how it works. And I hope you'll find this helpful. So the first thing you need to do is sign up for an account by just putting your name and email address in. Set a secure password. Pass the capture security. And click register. And then once you're signed in, it will ask you to add your church or organization name and also your website address. Click save. And then it will take you through to set up your subscription. It won't actually take any payment at this point. It just sets up the account so that you can easily add your card details later on if you want to carry on using Church Planner after the 30-day free trial. So once you're registered and signed in, it will tell you your 30-day free trial is active, and then you've got access then to use all of the system for 30 days. So the first thing you'd want to do is go into through the settings panel and define any settings that would be helpful to you. So ideally you would enter your church address, contact details, phone number, email and website. Within roles, you would define any roles that you were going to need to help with things like your services, which we'll get to later. So I'm adding 2 roles, a service leader role and a preacher role. Same with venues. So you might have access to 1 or more buildings or different rooms that you want to assign events into. So your Sunday service, maybe a midweek group, a prayer meeting, that kind of thing. So think about the venues that you have access to and add them into the system. You can add your family groups so that you can easily connect people together in family groups later on. And then you can also add speakers, series, which is to do with your sermons, your preaching archive, so series names, and then your podcast settings. And you can use this to provide a feed into YouTube. If you want to run a sermon podcast via YouTube, you can upload your files into Church Planner and then run the feed into YouTube to make your recordings really easy for people to find and to listen to. You can add additional administrators to give other people within your church access to the information that you're entering within Church Planner. And finally, you can manage your subscription via the subscription panel and then click manage subscription. So once you've been through all of those settings areas and added the detail in that you need, you can always come back to it and edit it later, but it's a good idea to get it set up fairly accurately as you begin then adding content elsewhere. So when you go to the dashboard, you'll see some information about your the status of your subscription. Once you subscribe, that message would disappear, and then you'd see the grid here of different sections that you might want to enter into. So the first one would be contacts, and here you can add contacts into your Church Planner account by adding first name, last name. Ideally, you're going to add an email address for people, set their communication preferences. You can assign them into a family group if you want to do that. And you can also add tags, which are a useful way of grouping people together. So I'm going to add the tag member to my profile here and click save. If you want to import a lot of members' contact details quickly, you can use the import function. There's a template CSV file that you can download, copy and paste your contact details into the template, and then upload the CSV to import your contacts really quickly. Next section is groups. Here you can add groups which reflect something of your church. So you might have a members group, you might have a leaders group, you might have a musicians group. And if you use the same tag as you have used against your individual contacts, or you set groups up with tags and then assign the tags to contacts, then you'll automatically populate your groups with people who match. So now if we look in the members group, then we can see that there's my contact profile because I tagged myself member. And if I look at my profile, you can see there that I'm assigned into the members group. You can also add people manually into groups. So you might have a leaders group, for example, and then within the leaders group, you can search for someone and click to add them manually into that leaders group. Next on the list, we've got communication. And this is where you would create emails by giving them a subject, and then you can click on the subject or click on view, and it will give you an interface for building your email content. You can add headings, text, you can add Bible passages. And as you add information to your email, you can see here on the right hand side that it displays it in the way that it will appear when it's sent out. If you want to send yourself a test, you can do that by using the box in the top right hand corner here and click send test. And a few moments later, that email will arrive in your inbox. And then when you're happy to send, you can either send to individual contacts by adding as many as you want into the contacts panel here, or you can send to groups, either one group or again multiple groups, depending on who you need to send your email to. So you define who to send it to and then just click send email, and a few moments later that will be delivered to your contacts. Calendar is the next section. Here you can add events. I'm going to add a Sunday service event, and I'm going to make it for this Sunday, 10 o'clock. And I'm going to say that the end time is 12, and that it repeats weekly, and that it should repeat until the end of the year. I'm going to add the role service leader and preacher into this event, and I'm going to say that it happens in the church building, and I'm going to click save. And now if we look at the calendar, you can see a repeating Sunday service down the right hand side here on each Sunday. If you click on an individual one, you can again see the detail of the recurring event, and then on the right hand side you can define people into the roles that you've set by just searching for their name. Above that, there's a link to a plan. Here you can create a plan for your service. Again, give it a heading, put some text in. You can add YouTube videos, you can add Bible passages, and as you add the content to your plan, it appears down here on the right hand side. You can download the plan as a PDF, or you can copy and paste the plan URL and share that with your musicians or your service leaders, whoever needs to see it, so that you can keep people informed with what's happening. Below that, we've got documents. This is where you can create various folders to store different kinds of documents and information. So you might have a letters folder, you might have a logos folder, and once you've created the folders, you can upload files, pictures into those folders, and you can then use them within your emails to illustrate your emails, or you can send them out to people as an attachment, as a file within an email, or you can just store them for future reference if you need to keep documents centralized, useful for things like statements of faith, memorandums of understanding, all that kind of church policy stuff that you want to keep centralized and accessible to people. You might also want to store things like meeting minutes and agendas, and you could then use the email tool to send those documents out to your members lists, for example. After that, we've got the audio section, which is where you can upload MP3 files to create your sermon archive. And then below that, we've got the training section, which allows you to create topics. And then within the topic, you can create sessions. And then within the session, you can define the content. Again, you build it on the left-hand side. You can preview it on the right-hand side. And when you're happy that it's ready and it can be used, then you can share the public link with members of your church or anyone else. You could link to these links from your own website, or you could share them via WhatsApp or email, whatever you like. And when people open up the link, it will give them a page that just contains that information, just that session. So it's quite a useful way to tie together topics, to provide an easy access interface for people on a particular theme. Quite a flexible tool. And the other thing you can do is incorporate your training sessions within an email. So if we go back into communication, into the draft email and click training, we can add a training block into this email and choose the statement of faith, the Bible session, save that, and then you'll see that that content now appears in the email as well. So you can use that content in different kinds of ways, either direct link or sent out within the body of an email if you would prefer to do that. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that's kind of whetted your appetite for what Church Planner can do. Feel free to sign up for a trial. You'll get 30 days where you can play around, add some information, set it up how you like with the roles, the venues, the responsibilities, the meetings, and so on that work for you. See how you get on. And if you need any support, please email jack@churchplanner.co.uk or use the chat window in the bottom right hand corner of the app, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.